welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So I was scrolling on Instagram casually yesterday, and I came across this article about this ball player and how he's not seeking custody of his daughter or something like that. Matter of fact, let me pull it up real quick because I don't know these people. Okay, yeah, it says Anthony Edwards declares he is not seeking custody or visitation of daughter with Aisha Howard. So again, I don't know these people, but something told me to like go check the comments. I'm like, oh really? So I went to check the comments, and of course everybody had their opinions on the matter. If you are like me and don't know these people, here's a little bit of a backstory about the situation and get into like a more deeper analysis I would apply to so many other people. So it says here, NBA star Anthony Edwards scored a major victory in court battle with ex Aisha Howard after revealing he doesn't want custody and visitation. He doesn't want custody or visitation with their 4-month-old daughter. According to the court documents obtained, a hearing was held in Aisha's paternity suit filed in Los Angeles on February 24th. Aisha, who was 37, and her lawyers were present along with an attorney for Anthony, who was 23. The court granted motion brought by Anthony where he argued that California was the wrong state to determine child support for their daughter, Aubrey Summers. And she's a little infant. She was born in October. It says that he filed a separate paternity suit in Georgia. He alleged that Aisha lived in Georgia despite her claims in court that she moved to California before giving birth. So the baby was born in California. Anthony claimed Aisha delivered their child in LA and filed her case in California in an attempt to score higher child support from him. So the NBA star argued Aisha's conduct here is unjustifiable and a bad faith attempt to obtain a higher child support order. Her conduct of manufacturing a false reality and using the party's child for financial gain should not be tolerated. At a recent hearing, the judge granted Anthony motion in regard to the child support. The judge ruled that California lacks jurisdiction regarding child support, which means the decision will likely go to the judge presiding over to Anthony's case in Georgia. So the LA judge did set a hearing to determine if custody and visitation of the baby will be set by California court. But Anthony told the court that he is not interested in custody or visitation. Then it went on to talk about how she wanted to provide evidence that, this man knew what the situation was and knew that she was pregnant and such and such. So there was a text that said something like from her, this is her part of the text. I'm pregnant, wanted to tell you in person, but you gave me no other choice. We probably should have kept it cordial, but we're here now. Aisha allegedly said in one message. Then Anthony allegedly replied, okay, LOL, get the abortion, LOL. In a declaration, Aisha said upon informing Anthony of the pregnancy, he blocked me on all communication platforms and made it clear through text messages that he did not want to be involved in the life of our child. His exact words were that our daughter would be our daughter would be a fatherless child. Aisha added, from that point, Anthony never reached out to me to inquire about my well-being, the well-being of our child, or any of the needs I had during my pregnancy. I did not receive any support, emotional, financial, or otherwise, throughout the entire duration of my pregnancy. The case is ongoing. Okay. Like I said, I was reading the comments. Some people are arguing well, he's wrong. Some people are saying she's wrong. Here's the thing. We have got to stop putting ourselves in these positions where we are creating these ridiculous storylines and then getting mad at the way that the storyline is playing out. I don't think people really take into consideration the seriousness of becoming a parent. Like, people take being a parent and having a baby so lightly, and the circumstances in which a lot of people are creating children in, or the reasoning behind why they want to be parents, it doesn't make sense. Now, before I get into that, let's talk about these two individuals. Both of them are on some honestly. Okay, on this man, what's his name? Anthony Edwards. On his part, if you don't see yourself being with this woman long term, you're not into her like that, you will not enjoy the possibility of getting her pregnant. Why are you having sex with her raw? Why are you having sex with her raw? Now, I know some people would say, oh, what if he used a condom? Condoms are only 99 point whatever, percent effective. BS, okay? We know the consequences to certain actions, yet we do what we want to do anyway. It was all good and dandy for you to like be up running up in this woman irresponsibly. But now that a baby is here, oh nah, I don't want nothing to do with that. Like, make it make sense. Why do we do that? I don't know as humans why we do things that we know we're not supposed to and they get mad at the aftermath. We're insane, right? And on her end, because what it seems like is that, and a lot of women do this, and let's just be for real, a lot of women will have babies by these athletes and entertainers because yes, they do have a motive. There is an intention that, having a father that's wealthy means that they get a bag, like they're going to get money, they're going to be paid, they can live a certain lifestyle. When you have that, that's your intention, that's your reasoning behind wanting to procreate. You're already starting off on the wrong foot anyway. Now, these two individuals doing whatever they had to do, they each had their individual motives, and now we had created a situation that is not favorable because we're not about to be together long term. We're not working towards building anything together. We're not going to get married. I don't even want to be with you, let alone have your baby. But no, this is my body, my choice. I'm going to go through with it anyway. Okay, cool. Where's the realism when these situations happen? He said out of his own, he said with his own fingers and through the text, this child's about to be fatherless. Okay, so he wants nothing to do with this baby. He's not, if he doesn't want anything to do with the baby, obviously he's not going to be there to support you. He's not going to be part of your village. He's not going to make sure that you have what you need. He doesn't want to provide financially. You go through the process anyway. You have to understand that you are a single mother now. This is what you are signing up for. This is the agreement. This is the terms and conditions. This is the karmic contract that you have now created through this act. We manifested a baby through our sexual actions. Now it's on me to assume all of the responsibility. When women are in these positions, I think when they decide to have the baby anyway, because that is their right, this is their body. Maybe they're not into abortions and things like that. And by the way, I'm pro-choice. Like, whatever you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. I don't judge people for what they do with their body. But when they decide to go through with it anyway, like I was saying, I feel like that's an act of defiance for them. And they feel like when they do that, there's still some type of hope in their mind that at some point the dad will change their mind. At some point the situation will change. They can control the narrative, and now maybe the dad will see the baby and have some type of revelation, so now they want to like play their part. And it doesn't work like that. You cannot force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. Should this man step up and take care of his responsibility? Of course he should. Like, you created this situation. But again, we cannot force anybody to do what they don't want to do. So now we bring a kid into the world. The foundation was to begin with. And now what people don't take into consideration is not just about having a baby. A baby is a baby. You blink 5 times and now we have a 35-year-old. We create humans that we raise into adults because you spend the entire rest of your life being an adult and functioning as an adult. So it's important to have the right circumstances for these kids in the beginning initially. And we need to get out of this habit and break these patterns and stop perpetuating these cycles of broken homes, single family homes, family dysfunction, co-parenting, drama, all of those things. We need to like be more intentional with what we are doing in our actions. Now, again, I think that people need to look more deeper into parenthood, because like, let's say you were to do a survey, like Family Feud style survey. We surveyed 100 people and top 10 answers are on the board, that type of thing. We do that and ask a bunch of people, what is your reason for wanting to be a parent? You can kind of guess what the top responses are going to be. Now, believe what you want, but there are good and bad reasons for bringing kids into this world, and we have to look at things on a more deeper level. So, terrible reasons to want to have kids. and be bringing kids into madness. The number one thing that we would hear is that, oh, because I love babies and I want a little me and they're so cute. Because they're cute and you want a little you want a little you to do what? Because big you don't even have it. Big you is not even all the way together. Big you is not even all the way there. And you want to create a little you now that's going to grow up to be another big you. Like, we got to make things make sense and listen to it when we really say it. I hear that a lot. People want to have babies because they just love the idea, like babies. Oh my God, this little thing, this little life, they're so cute, they're so cuddly and blah, blah, blah. It makes no sense as to the sole reason for wanting to be a parent, because you blink your eyes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The baby, grown ass adult. You know, that's the shortest part of the human cycle, is childhood. And it's the most crucial, and that sets the tone as to what you're going to experience, how are you going to be, how are you interacting with others in the world, what are you putting into the world. Think about like all the wickedness, the evil, the depression, the this, the that, the negative things of this world come from broken adults who had issues in their childhood. We don't think so far ahead, or we don't think that deep into things. Another reason why people want to have kids, because of some perceived financial gain. And this could be on both ends. You know, a lot of times, most times we think about the women who have babies for a come up because they want to, you know, mate with the rich athlete, or they feel like somebody comes from a very wealthy family, or they see somebody as being they have a good head on their shoulders, they're going to be successful, maybe they have a good job, and they're preying on that specifically. Or like with the men, they say like, oh, because I know when tax time comes, you know, my tax is going to be looking nice. And they thinking about the tax money that they getting from the kids. It's just nasty work. Like, that's your reason for wanting to be a parent. It bring life into the world because of money. Like, it's just nasty. Another reason is because we don't want to feel alone. You know, a lot of people are lonely. They feel like a kid is going to fix whatever it is that they're missing, a void. Or like you see those instances where women, they haven't received love in any form in a healthy way, and they think that the baby is going to bring them some type of like love. Oh, I never experienced a love like this. This is the love of my life. And it's kind of cringy, especially mothers who have sons and then they look at their sons as their spouse. And then we have that Oedipus complex thing that be going on, or then they try to look to their sons to be the man of the house. Like, it's so unhealthy. Another reason is because of pressure, whether that's pressure from your family to have kids, whether you're with a significant other and they're pressuring you to have a kid because they really want a baby, but you might not necessarily want one, and you do it just to appease them. Terrible reason to bring a kid into the world. Or another thing, to live vicariously through the kids. Damn, my video light died. Had to charge it and come back. But yeah, that is the most selfish thing to do, to try and live your life through your kids. There's this saying that I used to hear older people say, older Caribbean people say back in the day, like, you make your kids, but you don't make their mind. And that's exactly it. Like, yeah, we give birth to these little beings, but they have their own brain to think and process and explore and pursue and do what they want to do. Everybody comes here with their own life path, their own set of things they're meant to learn and to get into in this lifetime. You cannot push your beliefs, your desires, your goals, your achievements, your this and that on your kids. If there is something that you wanted to achieve in this lifetime and you haven't done it, as long as you have life, you have a chance. As long as you're waking up every day, you're still here, you're still alive and well, you have your health and strength and blah, blah, blah. Figure out a way to get what you want. This is your life. You are the creator of this story. But don't try to force your storyline on your kids. That reminds me, Victoria in what's that Madea movie, Family Reunion, how she was so desperate to live through her youngest daughter. She was willing to sell her daughter out to an abuser just so she can get the money that she felt like she was owed and deserved. She didn't have a chance to, experience wealth the way she wanted. Now she's seen that opportunity for her daughter. She's going to push her daughter, throw her daughter to the wolves. That's crazy. And that is not love. And that is bad parenting. But anyway, and then the other thing that I probably should have mentioned first at the top of the list as well, accidental pregnancy without being prepared. If you're not ready emotionally, financially, mentally, physically, circumstantially, and such, what are we bringing these kids into? If you're being faced with the possibility of parenthood, things that you should be thinking about is like, are you emotionally mature enough to where you can parent somebody in a healthy way? Are you financially prepared? Are you with somebody that you actually love and want to build a life with? Are you and your person on the same page as it relates to parenthood? Do you feel like parenthood is something that is part of your purpose in some way? It ties into that. Are you prepared to sacrifice certain things? Are you looking to grow your legacy? You want to elevate your lineage, expand on your bloodline, and leave something for them and have like a story that really has meaning and depth to it. You know, these are things to think about. So something that I would encourage, and keep in mind, this is coming from somebody who was a parent. I will be celebrating 10 years of parenthood this year, and I only have one child, my one and only daughter. Now, my experience with motherhood, I'll be honest, it was not the best. I love my daughter to the moon and back. I will do anything. I'm always willing to make any sacrifice for her. But when I became a mother, I was young. I was 22 when I became a mom. I did not have not even an ounce of the wisdom that I have today. I didn't know. There were so many things about life, about relationships, about the world in general that I did not know, I did not perceive. I didn't get those gems yet. All the wisdom that I've accumulated came later in life after I've made all the mistakes, after I've created all the mess. It's like I had to see things in hindsight because in the moments, I didn't have that maturity. And had I known better, I would have definitely done better. I would not have been in this situation that I was with the person who I was with, because that was just a representation and a reflection of me being naive and not having experience and not having a higher level of self-value. Because I was like 5 years into the relationship before the child came. It wasn't planned. I was on birth control. Somewhere in between, needed to re-up on the birth control. Something happened, and then we figured it out. And then back then, I already knew that this wasn't the best relationship, but then I was so immature in thinking. I felt like, okay, well, maybe this might be the thing to change the relationship and make it better. And I'm so embarrassed to say that out loud, because that, oh my God, you live and you learn. Because that, I would, like, me at 32 would never think like that. But me at 22, that was my thought process. There was so many red flags in that relationship. All the red flags and the signs were there that could foreshadow that this situation, like the things that played out in my experience years later, that was going to happen. In hindsight, though, that's when I realized, because I'm like, damn, like I had this experience, this is going, like, the journey with co-parenting has not been good for me. It felt like the person that I had a child with, it was like a punishment. Like the situation felt like a punishment. Being attached to him it feels like a punishment. And that's been something that I have to work through. And it's been a lot of like motherhood wounds and traumas and things of that nature that I've been having to work through. That's why I only have one kid. It only took me one time to learn the severity of why it's so important to be careful who you have a kid with. This is me speaking from experience. And I think that if I would have had certain advice at 22, it would have made me think differently. And I probably would have moved differently, you know? Because, baby, my situation, ghetto and for the birds. Like, I would not wish that on anybody. And for my astro girlies, let me give y'all some context to what I'm dealing with. So for me, I'm a Cancer sun, Pisces moon, Scorpio rising. What I had to deal with: an Aries sun, a Scorpio moon, a Capricorn rising, and an Aries Venus and Mercury. You see why wisdom is so important? Because had I known this information at 22, had I known this information at 18, it would have never happened. Our synastry is so terrible. Like, if I pulled up the synastry chart, nasty work. Like, literally all of the atrocities that I've experienced, you can see it in our synastry chart. It's crazy. But anyway, I would suggest that you, whether you journal about it, whether you just review it, answer it, in your head, whatever the case may be, there are 25 questions that I implore you to think about. And this is all about personal readiness for parenthood and children. Here are some questions you should ask yourself to see if you are personally ready for all the things that entail with parenthood and having kids. Number 1, am I emotionally ready to nurture and raise a child? Do I have the patience, resilience, and support system needed for parenting? That is so important, especially for moms, because when we talk about postpartum depression, a lot of the times why women are experiencing postpartum depression is there is a disconnect there with the support system. Like, there's something missing. There's a void in their village. It is so important to have a village, whether it's your family, you have a doula, you have your significant other there, like you have a nanny, like whatever it is you need. When we do not have the village, when we do not have the support system, our hormones are already all over the place. They're all rewired and things of that nature. And then compile the fact that you're going to be even more stressed when you are missing things, when you don't have the ability to relax, when you don't have the resources, the finances, the whatever it is you need. Having a healthy support system, and that goes both ways for both the men and the women, honestly. But if you don't have that, that is definitely something that you should take your time with, making sure that you have in place. Next, how do I currently manage stress, and will I be able to handle the added responsibilities? Am I mentally and emotionally healed from past traumas that could affect my parenting? Do I truly want a child, or am I feeling pressure from society, family, or my partner? If I have a partner, are we aligned on parenting styles, discipline, and responsibilities? Is my relationship or marriage strong enough to handle the challenges of parenting? If I am single, do I have a strong support system of family, friends, community to help me? Am I prepared for the possibility of parenting alone if circumstances change? Which this young lady probably did not ask herself that, because look where she is now. Number 10, how will a child impact my social life, friendships, and personal freedom? That's an important one, especially for people who are more free spirited and they enjoy that freedom of being able to come and go when they want to. That's something very important to consider. Next, can I afford the cost of raising a child, considering inflation, childcare, healthcare, and education? How will having a child affect my career or business? And am I prepared for the changes? Do I have maternity leave benefits or financial stability to take off after birth? Have I created a financial plan, including savings, insurance, and an emergency fund? Am I willing to make sacrifices in my lifestyle to prioritize my child's needs? Number 16, am I physically healthy enough for pregnancy and childbirth? Do I have any medical conditions that could impact my ability to conceive, carry, or care for a child? What will my postpartum recovery and mental health plan look like? How will I prioritize self-care while raising a child? Am I willing to adapt to the physical, hormonal, and emotional changes that come with motherhood? What values, morals, and spiritual beliefs do I want to pass on to my child? How will I ensure my child is raised in a loving, nurturing, and growth-oriented environment? How do I want to balance motherhood with my personal growth and spiritual journey? And lastly, am I bringing a child into the world with intentionality and purpose? Because I absolutely believe that we should be creating kids with a purpose. That is the most life-shaping decision that you can take on, along with marriage. So you should be intentional with it. And might as well just read it on the end for the men now. So it's kind of the same thing, just a little bit some things are worded differently. In the context of a man that's thinking about fatherhood, am I emotionally and mentally prepared for the lifelong commitment of fatherhood? Have I healed from any past traumas that could affect my parenting? Am I ready to be a consistent and present father no matter the circumstances? So this is not a conditional thing. No matter what's going on, am I willing to do my part? Do I fully understand the sacrifices and responsibilities that come with raising a child? Am I having a child because I truly want to, or I'm feeling pressured by society, family, or my partner? If I have a partner, do we share the same parenting values and visions to raising a child? Is my relationship or marriage strong enough to handle the challenges of parenting? If I am co-parenting, am I prepared to communicate effectively and peacefully with my child's mother? Do I have a strong support system of family, friends, or mentors to help guide me through fatherhood? Am I prepared to be emotionally available and affectionate with my child, even if I wasn't raised that way? That is so important. Can I financially provide for a child, considering the cost of living, healthcare, education, and emergencies? Do I have a financial plan, including savings, insurance, investments to secure my child's future? How will having a child affect my career, business, or long-term financial goals? Am I willing to make lifestyle adjustments to prioritize my child's needs over personal luxuries? Do I understand the financial responsibility of fatherhood beyond providing just material things? Am I in good physical health to be an active and present father? Do I have any medical conditions that could impact my ability to care for my child? Am I taking care of my mental health to ensure that I can be a stable and supportive parent? How will I balance self-care, work, and fatherhood without neglecting my well-being? Am I prepared for the sleepless nights, stress, emotional ups and downs of parenting? What values, morals, or principles do I want to instill in my child? What kind of example do I want to set for my child in terms of character, work ethic, and relationships? How do I want to balance fatherhood with my personal growth and spiritual journey? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind for my children and future generations? Am I ready to love, guide, and protect my child unconditionally, regardless of life's challenges? So these are very important questions to consider before the child gets here. And I think that if we start to ask ourselves these questions, if we start to dig deeper, if we start to see parenthood as something that is not just some casualty, and that's a major life decision, if we start to consider the severity, if we start to consider the consequences of our reckless actions, maybe we'll start to make changes and see better dynamics, stronger family structures, and happier children if we start to think along these lines. So I'm gonna just leave it here. Maybe I should pin the questions that I asked in the comments. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you found it useful. I hope that is making you guys think. If you know somebody that may need to hear these messages, don't hesitate to send them this video. And yeah, let me get out of here because my time is up, and I will see you guys on the next one.